again. Brooke here. Today's little check-in is going to be a very long and drawn-out answer to the question, why am I doing this surgery? Why am I getting my upper jaw moved upwards and my lower jaw moved back? And if it's my insurance asking, it's because I'm in pain and it's hard to chew. And everybody, you guys have probably heard a lot of people describe that that problem. I don't have any jaw clicking, but I do have a sort of constant pain and discomfort that I don't notice all the time, but if I stopped and thought about it, I'm pretty much in constant discomfort. And then there's the chewing and the stress on your teeth caused by an improper bite, which can cause you to lose teeth pretty early in your life, as happened to my great-grandfather, from whom I inherited this nice chin and underbite. And yeah, I think he had dentures by the time he was 40, maybe younger actually. Anyway, when I was 35, he had dentures. But the other reason is, and this is the reason I'm most excited about this surgery, is I'm so self-conscious about my appearance, and ever since my face started growing this way, as in downward, the direction of downward, I have been really self-conscious. I think I was probably around 11 or 12 when I ceased to be adorable. I was actually a pretty cute little kid, and then right as I headed into 7th grade, my jaw started growing, and my orthodontist intervened pretty quickly and said, you know, this is really your only option. You can continue with the orthodontics and then get surgery. And my parents actually okayed and got me on the path towards having my first surgery when I was 13. So the summer before I went off to boarding high school, I got this surgery for the first time. And recap, in case you haven't seen my other videos, I just had my maxilla moved forward, and then they went in just on my right side to realign my jaw. They didn't bring it back at all. They just sort of straightened it out. It wasn't really noticeably asymmetrical. I don't remember it being that way, but apparently, I guess it must have been. But anyway, I guess they thought it was just severe enough that they might as well correct it at that age. I really don't know why this happened, because it wasn't that bad. I mean, it might have been just a little bit worse than it is now. But anyway, so then by the time I was about 16, it had already started growing again. And by the time I was 19, I'd say, my teeth were touching. And then by the time I think I had a full underbite again by the time I was 26, and I'm 28 now. But in any case, I have no idea why I continued to grow so much, and neither do any of my doctors. So I mean, if I keep growing from this point on after this surgery, then there's a big issue that I must have a pituitary tumor or something else wrong hormonally. But nothing else grows. I'm a pretty petite girl. I'm only 5'6", and I always have been, really, since maybe maybe I was 14. I think I've been the same height for a very long time, and none of my other features grew. My hands, well, when I hold them close to the camera, they look gigantic. But yeah, you can see my hands aren't oversized as they would be if I had acromegaly or another pituitary issue. Anyway, back to the main topic that I had intended for this video, which is bullying and self-esteem. Down to get real. I guess I started getting bullied pretty quickly once my jaw started growing, and the first time I think I realized that I didn't look like the other kids was one day at lunch in the cafeteria. I was with a bunch of my friends. I went to an all-girls school, and a bunch of us were sitting at the lunch table, and everybody was talking about who we look like. And I think the topic was like Disney princesses, perhaps. Like which Disney princess do we look like? And it went all the way around the table, and I said, well, what about me? Who do I look like? And I believe it was my best friend at the time turned to me and said, you look like a carrot. And everybody started laughing, and I sort of was confused. You know, I really had no awareness of my being that different looking, but yeah, and then everybody one by one started saying something like, yeah, you don't look like any of them, you know, your face is too long, and you don't look like anybody, you look like a vegetable, like I look like a carrot. I don't know, it was a very bizarre conversation, but that was the first time I realized that I do not look like the other little girlies. So, but it was not the last time I was confronted by that issue. Not long after that, at summer camp, a group of guys came up to me after campfire, and a guy I had a crush on was one of the guys in the group. They came up to me and they sort of pushed their leader forward, and he said, "What's your name?" And I knew them, so I thought, what is going on here? And I said, you know, my name is Brooke, and I thought the dance was coming up, and I thought one of them was gonna ask me to the dance or something, and I was really nervous. But the kid said, Brooke, huh? Can I call you Longface? And they all started laughing. It was a nice little pre-planned confrontation of how weird looking I was to them. I said no, by the way. I said, no, you can't call me that. What's wrong with you? I think my friend might have said that. What's wrong with you? Or that's mean or something like that. Anyway, but that stuck in my mind. And aside from just every once in a while being called like Jaws or Longface by other people, I guess there was one other instance where a guy said, was snickering about something to his friend, and then his friend whispered it to my friend, and then my friend told me what they were laughing about, and apparently it was that they were saying that I looked like Igor, or the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or something, and then they started mimicking me, like, with my, like, and it was hilarious for everybody but me. But yeah, I this stuff happened enough that I had a difficult time accepting my body, and it was right at the time, right at the age where that's a big deal. You're coming into yourself and sort of self-actualizing, and you're going through a lot of different growth processes, and uh, psychologically it really did a number on me. And I think I'm only just now recovering from that, but uh, I don't know. All my friends were good looking too, and I was the only one who never had a boyfriend. And all the boys I liked always went out with my best friend, and I just felt different. And I started holding my shoulders up and sort of sinking into myself, and I had social anxiety disorder and depression, and not all the depression was related to that, but it didn't help. It definitely didn't help. I felt I detached from my body, and um, it just started I guess a tendency to want to escape, and I don't know. I just started avoiding everything. I didn't want to go to school dances, and if I did, it was just they were always depressing. I think when I was really young, maybe 12, 13, maybe even yeah, right before the operation, the dances always ended with me crying at home in my room, and yeah, it was tough. It's tough for a little girl to go through that, and anyway, I guess we all have these stories, and it's interesting seeing these other videos and hearing so many people with such similar stories. And my mom would always say, "What are you talking about? You have body dysmorphia. You're beautiful, and I don't understand why you think this is such a problem." And it's been so great for me. This sounds awful. I was gonna say this. It's been so great to hear other people tell sort of similar stories. But I don't mean that I'm glad. I'm so glad that there are other people suffering out there. I just mean it's nice to know I'm not alone, and I really appreciate all you guys sharing your stories, and having such a defining characteristic as an underbite. It it affects you. I don't know. It seems legitimate to me, but everyone I talk to about it always says it's not a big deal. What are you talking about? Having an underbite isn't a big deal. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you have an underbite. But it's become very clear to me over time that people care. Boys care, and my friends care, and they make fun of it, and it's not attached to their bodies, so they have no reason to know. Obviously, it's not a big deal to them because they're not walking around with it. But I guess that's sort of a glib analysis of the situation. I didn't think enough about this before I started rambling here. But anyway, I have been recovering from this though recently, and most of it has been through mindfulness practices and meditation. Once I started meditating, I remember the first time I meditated, I was gonna do a guided body scan, and just the act of going to turn this thing on, to press play on the guided meditation MP3, was one of the most bizarrely terrifying moments that I've had in the last year. Just deciding to turn off the television and become aware of what's going on in my body was horrible. that moment, it was horrible. I've also mentioned before, I've been dealing with nerves and IBS and a hiatal hernia, mostly from stress and the way I hold my stomach. I really tense up, and I from my social anxiety, and like I had a six-pack basically from how tense I was all the time, and but anyway, I was throwing up a lot, and my response to that was to just be totally detached from my body, and just try to ignore it and focus on other things, because I was desperately afraid of my body basically, and what was going on inside it and what it looked like. And once I did this meditation, and once I sort of went down the path of accepting that this is my body, this is what's going on with me, and just learning to sit with it, and to be able to sit with myself, and just be aware and mindful. It made a huge difference. It literally, it changed my life immediately. After that, I had been having panic attacks almost once a day, every day, for quite a while, for months, and related to my illness. And after the body scan, I think I went almost a month without a single panic attack. And then when I did have the beginnings of panic attacks, it would fizzle out, because I would accept it, and not be trying to frantically figure out what's wrong with me, and figure out what to do. But anyway, it also just helped me feel more grounded in my body, and I highly recommend it to anybody who's thinking about having this surgery, or dealing with body issues, body dysmorphia, or any sort of self-esteem issues, or really any issues at all. But I plan to really intensify my meditation practices before the surgery, because during my last surgery, I had a really awful time in recovery in the hospital, and I was just getting these constant adrenaline rushes, and throwing up, and just feeling really scared a lot, and uncomfortable, and just feeling like there's something wrong with me, and having the little heart monitor was tripping me out. Like, if I would hear my heart rate go up a little bit, it would spiral out of control, because I'd be thinking, oh God, what's wrong with me? My heart rate's going up, so my heart rate would go up further, and it would go on and on and on like that. But yeah, so I am gonna try to really ground myself before I get this second surgery. Yeah, so if anyone has questions about meditation, feel free to ask. I'm not a master of these things, but I do have a few things I can recommend, and a few guided meditations I can send you if you want. Sorry, I know this sort of turned into an ad for meditation and mindfulness. I didn't mean for it to go in that direction, but I guess it's good to find something to talk about that's positive, and not just complain about my self-esteem. But yeah, well, I guess thanks again to everybody else who's been sharing their stories, and I felt like these videos that I've seen about bullying and self-esteem issues have been so sweet and so helpful, and you guys are so brave to talk about that stuff, especially those of you who are still dealing with it on a daily basis. I can't imagine, how difficult that is for you guys. Well, actually, I can sort of imagine it, but yeah, love to talk about it further with anyone who wants to chat. Yeah, and you can message me, comment, and I'll get back to you, and I can give you my email address or whatever. Yeah, so my next update will probably be when I solidify my operation date, or anything else weird comes up that I feel like rambling about. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to give you a profile and everything, just in case you haven't seen my other videos. Well, here's my bite, first of all. It's changed a bit since I got my braces last week. Like every day, my bite is a little different, and I'm biting down on different teeth. So they're gonna have to do new molds next week, I think. If my surgery is in fact on the 26th of this month, May 2015. Oh yeah, and here's my profile. Um, cool. Well, check in again soon, hopefully. And thanks to anyone who's been watching these. It's been really cool. And please, please, please ask questions. I'm really, all I want to do in these couple weeks leading up to my surgery, all I can think about is this surgery. All I want to do is watch you guys' videos and research operation prep stuff and vitamins and all sorts of goofy stuff. So please ask me questions so I don't go out and buy more weird ice packs and things like that for my surgery, because I don't have that kind of money. I hope to hear from you soon. Bye, everybody.